In this video, I'm going to be talking about the copy workflow. So the copy workflow consists of 4 different steps, and there are 2 ways in which you can access or view or change those workflow steps. And the first one is to access it by opening and closing the asset, if you need to do that, just by double clicking on it to open, and saving and closing to close. Or you can edit the metadata, which is found here. If you like keyboard shortcuts to edit metadata on a PC, it's Control E. On a Mac, it's Command E. So when you press Command E, you'll see that this copy has been assigned a particular workflow, and it's called the new copy workflow. And this is one of the reasons why we use the templates tab, because the templates are configured with a particular workflow amongst other attributes as well. So it makes it much easier for you to work with. So when you're looking at this, you would never really change the workflow. You would always just change the workflow step and the workflow target, which I'll talk about in a minute. So these are the 4 workflow steps which I was talking about. We've got copy in progress, copy for review, copy approved and ready, and archived. So so it starts off with progress. So that's, you would use this step if what you're still working on the piece, so it's not ready to be reviewed by anyone. So, and then you would change the workflow step to say copy for review, and you would probably type in a person's name or a person's group, because as you can see, there's only a few steps, and so this is why we have the workflow target, because it allows you to be flexible with who you pass it on to, so that it's not restrictive in any way, and it also doesn't block anything as well. So it's highlighting that things are for someone to look at, but someone else can look at it as well at the same time. So, for example, how I'll show you is if I were to change it to a particular person. So I could type in a person's name, and then I just put in the first word, type in, press enter, and the person's name comes up. So if I press OK to this, you'll see on the right hand side that this copy has that person's name in the workflow target column, and so everyone can see that it's with that person. Now, if that person were to look into their stored searches, they have a stored search called My Work, and it would be in there. So I'll just show you that by putting this back to myself, and then I'll just show you what it looks like in My Work. So if I go back to Command E, and if you ever want to put something to yourself, if you just click on this little icon here, it puts it back to the name, to the account which you're logged in at that time. So if I press OK, and if I leave this open, because I want to keep it open, and then if I go to My Work, there's that contribs page here. Okay, and then if I were to Command E again and change it back to something else, so let's say I want to apply it to, so you can apply it to people, but you can also apply it to groups. So you might want to apply it to, say, the subs group. So if you say subs, the group will come up. So we have groups for most of the editorial teams. So we have a subs group, an art group, and then we've broken down the writers groups to health, and there's also a features group as well. So if you're interested in knowing what group you're in, or whether you require a certain group, just contact the IT department and we can find out what groups you've been assigned to. Okay, so all subs should in theory be part of the subs group. So if you press subs and press OK, so it comes out of My Work because I'm not in the subs group. This temporary account's not in the subs group. But if we go to the issue, it's still there. You can still find it, but it's been assigned the subscript. So if I go back to the workflow steps again, so what you would do is it would go through the various people depending on your team or groups who needs to be reviewed by, and then it goes to copy approved and ready. And approved and ready is a locked workflow step, so only art or subs can access this locked workflow. And the reason why we do that is because when, from an editorial print perspective, when the copy is placed on a layout, what happens is it loses its link with the original Mavis article. So if you were to make changes to that Mavis article, it wouldn't actually reflect onto the layout, and that's the reason why we do that. So normally, if any changes need to be made after it's been approved, and if it's been placed on the layout, then it would normally be done on the layout, or if you would contact the subs department and they would put it back, you'd make the changes, and then art would put the new version onto the layout. So just to bear that in mind. And then the last workflow step, which we're talking about, is the archive. And you wouldn't actually necessarily move anything to the archive workflow step, because it's an automatic workflow step where the content gets moved to once the issue has been printed and archived. So the only ones which you will use will be really copy in progress, copy for review, and copy approved and ready. And that's it.